Children, welcome back to part 3 of the chapter Physical Features of India. This is me Manu Antony from Bhavan's Gandhi Vidyashram. We were dealing with the chapter The Physical Features of India. We started with the different physical divisions of India. We started off with the Himalayan ranges, which is divided into 3 parallel ranges, the Himadri, the Himachal and Shivaliks. Then we discussed the regional divisions of Himalayas. Then we started off with the northern plains. Northern plains were further divided into Punjab plains, Ganga plains and Brahmaputra plains. And in the last video, we started with the relief features of the northern plains. And we started with Babar. The rivers, after descending from the mountains, deposit pebbles in a narrow belt of about 8 to 16 km in width, lying parallel to the slopes of the Shivaliks. It is known as Babar. Then we went on to Terai. All the streams disappear in this Babar belt. South of this belt, the streams and rivers re-emerge and create a wet, swampy and marshy region known as Terai. Then we discussed Bankar. The largest part of the northern plain is formed of alder alluvium. It lies above the floodplains of the rivers and presents a terrace-like feature. This part is known as the Bankar. Then we discussed Khadar. The newer, younger deposits of the floodplains are called Khadar. They are renewed almost every year and are very fertile. Then the next physical feature that we discussed is Peninsular Plateau. Peninsular Plateau is a tableland. It looks like a table. It composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. This plateau has broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills. Then the Peninsular Plateau was further divided into Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. The part of the Peninsular Plateau lying to the north of the Narmada River, covering a major area in the Malwa Plateau, is known as the Central Highlands. The Deccan Plateau is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of river Narmada. These were the things that we discussed in the last video. Now we will start with Western Ghats. Western Ghats lie parallel to the western coast. If we look at the map here, we can see that it is very much parallel to the coastal area. They are continuous and can be crossed only through passes. Passes are valleys or gorges through which we can move to the other sides. Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. The average elevation is about 900 to 1600 meters. The Western Ghats cause orographic rain by facing the rain-bearing moist winds to rise along the western slopes of the Ghats. So the southwest monsoons bring about very high rainfalls in the Western Ghats. Anemudi is the highest peak in the Western Ghats. Now we will discuss Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats stretch from the Mahanadi Valley to the Nilgiris in the south. If you look at the map, we can see that it extends from here till here. The Eastern Ghats are discontinuous and irregular and dissected by rivers draining into the Bay of Bengal like Krishna and Kaveri. Eastern Ghat is almost parallel to the monsoons coming from the Bay of Bengal but does not cause much rainfall. The average elevation of Eastern Ghats is about 600 meters. By this we can see that Western Ghats is much higher when compared to the Eastern Ghats. So the average elevation of the Eastern Ghats is about 600 meters above sea level. Mahendragiri is the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats. Please make sure you learn the highest peaks of Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats and the major differences between Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats from the exam point of view. The next physical feature of India that we are going to discuss is the Indian desert. The Indian desert lies towards the western margins of the Aravalli Hills. If you look at the map here, we can see that this Indian desert is to the western margins of the Aravalli Hills. It's a sandy plain covered with sand dunes. Barkans, it's a crescent-shaped dunes cover large areas. Barkans is a dune, it's in the shape of a crescent. You can see some of the pictures here. The sand dunes are formed due to the wind. This region receives very low rain below 150 millimeter per year. So it has a dry climate with low vegetation cover. So since it's very less rainfall that's been received there, it has a dry climate and it has very low vegetation cover. And Luni is the only large river in this region. Now we will go on to the questions for today. First question is, differentiate between Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Second question, define Barkans. You can, when you write it down in your notebook, please make sure you draw the picture of a Barkan. And the third question is, which is the largest river in the Indian desert? That's it for today. Thank you students, and see you soon with the next video. Bye.